Stake their claim to replace Jalolov as the big star in this weight category. First up to try and begin their campaign to do such is Joel Ramos da Silva from Brazil in red and Dilan Rajic of Bosnia and Herzegovina in blue. And I'm delighted to say, alongside me to talk us through and give us some analysis here of these remaining contests of this evening session in Ring B is Tony Davis, Bahrain national coach, but of course for many, many years been involved with the England and GB setups. So knows many of these fighters and certainly knows the sport of boxing inside out. And Tony, this is a big opportunity in the super heavyweight division now that Jalolov has retired, double Olympic champion. He'd won everything again and again and again. If you drew him, pretty much your tournament was just about over. So it's a massive opportunity now for these fighters in this category.
Yes, Stacey, a huge opportunity. And of course you mentioned Jalolov, one of my boxers, now sort of left the Olympic side. Dennis Latypov, he fought Jalolov 3 times. So yeah, there's plenty of scope here and plenty of opportunity for these boxers.
And it's interesting, there's always different sizes and different body types in boxing. You can get the tall, rangy fighters in the same weight category as the stockier, shorter boxers. But of course, in the 90 plus, you can be just over 90 kilos or you can be way over 90 kilos. And these two, looks like there is quite a difference in weight. I don't know exactly what they weighed in at, of course, because we don't have that information. But it'd be interesting to see, because on the eye, anyway, Tony, the man in blue from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Dilan Rajic, does look the bigger man, doesn't he?
Yes, he certainly does, Stacey. You know, if he just stays behind them long levers as him, and just adjust his feet. Obviously, the man in red, De Silva, he just needs to move his head a little bit more and try and switch the attack up and down.
Of course, the power and the weight behind these shots, anything can change at any second. That's what makes this division so exciting. And he is on the front foot. Rajic, he's been pushing De Silva back, but De Silva has had plenty to say in response as well. Keeps switching stance, does De Silva. In an interesting first round.
Ladies and gentlemen, ring about 102.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see which way the judges go on this one. Rajic obviously on the front foot, forcing the pace slightly. But obviously De Silva was pretty busy on that back foot.
And he's got fast hands, De Silva, so he was effective when he was getting his work done up close, and that's reflected in the scores. All 5 judges going in favour of the boxer from Brazil. So a really good start for him, and Rajic needs to change something here. His coach demonstrating precisely what he wants him to do in that corner, just wafting that towel in the face of his boxer to cool him down. Choosing to stand in the corner, Rajic. De Silva taking the stool, they've wrapped the towel around him as they just pour water over his head just to try and keep him cool, and last words of encouragement and instruction from his corner.
Yeah, he certainly seems very relaxed and obviously a very experienced competitor here.
You just feel that Rajic needs to up the volume, up the tempo, because De Silva, when he gets the opportunity, really makes the most of his chance to get his shots off. He's a fluid mover as well, isn't he, for this weight category, De Silva?
He certainly is, just keeps him off balance there. Obviously Rajic moving forward, probably just, you know, getting a little bit too close instead of using those long attributes as his.
Judge 3, France. Judge 4, Brazil. And Judge 5, India. Your referee representing
just slowly
Morocco,
walking him down and cutting the ring off, isn't he, Rajic? But not necessarily making it count in terms of shots landed. De Silva, though, just waiting on the outside and on the end of those long jabs, and as soon as he can slip and get inside, he's effective. Here he goes again, just bobbing and weaving that head movement. Finds a way through for that backhand.
Oh yeah, a lovely two-shot punch combination there by De Silva. Obviously with the boxer in blue just not moving his head, he's just standing upright, which obviously provides a bigger target for De Silva.
Yeah, slow and steady, making his way forward, but not really posing any major problems for De Silva as of yet.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner, representing Lithuania, is Algirdas Manulis.
Yeah,
lovely defensive work from De Silva as well, and that's another thing that of course can impress upon the judges. It's not just about the way that you go about your attacking business. Displaying that defensive prowess is important, and he's been agile, slipping the shots, and good footwork as well.
Yeah, as you say, Stacey, one of the scoring criteria is technical and tactical superiority, and he's definitely shown that, De Silva. You know, just moving off his head body movement, great, coming back with his shots, coming back with counters, switching the attack up and down as well. Lovely stuff for him so far.
Not rushing his work either. Had the Bosnian in the corner there and just still took his time, and he's actually walked himself into the corner now and boxing off the back foot. But it looks to me as well, Tony, I might be incorrect in saying this because obviously you can't know unless you're feeling those shots, but it appears that De Silva doesn't respect the power of Rajic. I don't think he's been able to sort of fill him with fear with those shots, has he? He's not really landed anything clean and threatening.
Yeah, and I just think it's probably down to experience. It just seems that Rajic is maybe a little sort of new on this horizon.
Well,
and,
De Silva's a 7 times Brazilian champion, bronze at the World Boxing Challenge, and at the World Boxing Cup in Sheffield last November he took gold, beating Italy's Diego Lenzi in the final. The Italian did get revenge though at the World Boxing Cup this year in Astana with a knockout, so difficult to come back from those at times, but it looks like De Silva has managed to, as he takes all the judges' favour in that second round. Became national champion in February, did Rajic. He's had a European bronze in May of last year. He's also competed in the WBC boxing Riyadh season. He lost in that one. He's had some MMA fights as well, so an all-round combat fighter by all accounts, but he's got his work cut out here and he needs to do something special in this final round if he's going to progress. De Silva does have that fairly typical Brazilian style, though they tend to have quite a bit of flair and express themselves in that way inside the ring, and a bit more aggression here from Rajic, and that's exactly what his corner will probably want him to do, Tony, because he has to make something happen here if he's going to progress, and looks like they've sent their man out to get on the front foot and set about De Silva and try and cause him problems.
Yeah, definitely, Stacey. He's got to throw a caution to the wind here and actually have a go here. Let's hope De Silva doesn't switch off. It looks like he did that probably against the Italian when he boxed him and then suffered that knockout defeat. Because I know Diego Lenzi is a bit of a handful. But let's see what happens for the rest of this duration of the round.
Not too happy with that, De Silva. He felt that Rajic threw after the break, but action resumes anyway, and it does look in the opening part of this third round that Rajic has started to load up with his shots. He's twisting his torso, he's turning his back hip into those backhand shots in a way that we didn't see in the first 2 rounds. Oh, he's straight on him there. He just saw that the Brazilian did sort of switch off for a moment there, didn't he? Took a step back to have a little breather, and he was tried to pounce on him, but De Silva just switched back on in time and was able to cover up.
Yeah, it seems that way, that he just does have that little moment of weakness just to switch off. But as we know, at this weight, anything can happen. So you've got to be switched on for the whole duration. You'd just like to see Rajic, just press a little bit more, but start aiming for the chest as opposed to the head, because De Silva seems to move that head a little bit fluently, and he kind of just misses and glances just over the top of the head.
He's got him in the corner now, but De Silva, those fluid movement, defensively managed to work his way out of there. Pushes him back up against the ropes now. What can Rajic do here? Really needs to turn up the intensity if he's going to trouble the Brazilian.
Yeah, he's got to go on the front foot a little bit more, try and press him, work the body and head, and really go 2 or 3 times.
Good work off the ropes from De Silva there. Better round from Rajic this, but you just feel it's not enough to change the outcome. Not enough to really trouble De Silva. He's got 20 seconds to change things.
He doesn't seem to have that little bit extra in the tank, does he? Just to go down, the second and third gear maybe was what's needed against this experienced Brazilian.
And he's worked hard, De Silva, as well. Thrown plenty of shots, punches in bunches, as they say, and worked hard for it. Smiles from both of them, almost with the air of sarcasm there as they make their way back to their respective corners. But a good way to kick us off in the 90+ kilo category, the super heavyweights. And given the size of these men, and that of course they know how to generate power, wouldn't be surprised if not all of these contests remaining go the distance, but this one has. And interestingly, the winner will face the winner of our upcoming contest, which involves a home nation's fighter from England, Damar Thomas, fighting on home soil against Koshaliv of Kyrgyzstan. But let's await the verdict here first between De Silva and Rajic.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the ring B bounds 108 19, your winner by unanimous decision. And boxing out of the red corner, representing Brazil, is Joel Ramos de Silva.
So a good performance from the Brazilian. He'll be delighted to get his campaign underway. And as I say, on Monday,
the Kyrgyzstan comes to him. Just like that, and lengthen them shots a little bit more.
like an Andy Ruiz style from the professional game, of course. Koshaliv, isn't he? That short stature, but comes over the top with those looping shots, and they can be really dangerous if you're not switched onto them. But Damar Thomas will know all about that. He'll be savvy defensively and displaying some of that neat and tidy footwork of his. Really sharp jab this out of that southpaw position from the Englishman. Koshaliv indicating it doesn't bother him, but they're still landing, and in the eyes of the judges, Thomas, the dominant force here, backing his man up, taking centre ring, and he's looking good here.
Yeah, he's looking very good. You know, centre of the ring there, those long levers of his, and not to get drawn in by, you know, the odd little shake of the head by his opponent. Just got to stick behind that lovely jab of his.
He looks really comfortable, and he's mixing it up. He's gone to the body with that lead hand sometimes as well, and he's barely had to use his backhand really. His jab has been so effective. He's just making sure that it works on the inside and doesn't allow Koshaliv to manhandle him too much at close quarters.
Yeah, we'd just like to see him maintain that gap, you know, that so he can use them long levers of his, and then adjust the feet and then come back with his straight shots, head or body, as you can see with that backhand. Scoring nicely downstairs.
Last 30 seconds of this opening round, and it's been a really good one for Damar Thomas, and he's had plenty of experience now at these tournaments, but it's a different thing entirely, the World Boxing Championships, and particularly with the added pressure of boxing on home soil with all that expectation, but he's lived up to it so far in this opening round.
0-3. Your winner by split decision, and boxing out of the red corner.
Yeah, lovely round there for Damar.
It was a really good round. He controlled the distance, he got his range and his timing perfect, and that lead hand is so effective as a weapon for Damar Thomas. Koshaliv has been described as Kyrgyzstan's new super heavyweight sensation, but he's down on all 5 judges after that first round. He is only 19 years old though, joined the national team as a junior 3 years ago. Won gold at the Kyrgyzstan National Championships for the last 3 years and bronze at the Asian Youths in 2023, reached the quarter-final in 24 and got bronze at the Great Silkweight Tournament in April. So he's a big prospect in Kyrgyzstan, and you have to bear in mind he is very, very young, especially in this weight category. Lots and lots of time for him to develop as a boxer and also develop his strength. So let's see what he can do to adjust here, but he's in against a pretty formidable Damar Thomas, who's been in great form in that opening round, and already started in the same vein with that fast, sharp jab.
Yeah, he just needs to maintain that gap, Stacey, and you know, just box, just the feet, move round, lateral movements. Don't hold the feet too much.
Canada, Judge 2, Hungary, Judge 3, Uzbekistan, Judge 4, Guatemala, and Judge 5, Argentina. Your referee representing Egypt, and Abdul Salam Mohammed.
And that's nice work there from Damar Thomas, that when he's landed with those long levers, he's taken that tiny step back out, which makes it increasingly difficult for Koshaliv to close the gap and land anything on him in reply.
Your red corner to the ring, representing Bulgaria, it's Jordan Alain Hernandez Moishon.
Referee just having a word with Koshaliv to keep his head up.
And that's what Damar just has to do, is just keep the feet going, you know, try and maintain that gap, you know, don't need to get too close, because you've got to watch the head. You don't want to be, you know, picking up any injuries or any cuts or anything at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, and that experience should help Damar Thomas. He's far more the experienced boxer in here in terms of international tournaments. Still very much in the development stage, Koshaliv, although they do have high hopes for him, but Damar Thomas had the measure of him from the first bell and continued to work really well behind that lovely sharp jab of his. He's having moments of success though, Koshaliv. Of course, you have to stay switched on because that kind of power and weight behind those shots, one punch can change everything. You have to be careful of those head clashes, as Tony Davis has already mentioned though. There's a long way to the podium, and any cuts or wounds can really scupper those plans. Not much time for recovery in between contests here, of course.
Yeah, he's just been one now for that use of the head. That's why Damar's just got to keep it nice and long, you know, lateral movement, side to side. The odd little feint just to keep his opponent off balance. And then just singles and doubles. This is where Damar doesn't want to be, just to pick up any, you know, alleviate that risk of picking up an injury.
And he doesn't need to, does he? Because it's also, you know, as you rightly say, risking catching any cuts or anything, but also it's the only chance that Koshaliv has got of landing anything. When he keeps it at range, he just can't touch him.
Yeah, exactly that.
Just that sharp jab and the little step back is enough. Keeping it simple, but he's doing the simple stuff very, very well, is the Englishman. European champion, he's had a silver at the Worlds. He's got a silver at the World Cup in Brazil in April as well, beating Daniel Sapabey and the USA's Kelvin Watts on the way to the final, where he's ultimately beaten by Uzbekistan's Jahongir Zokirov in the final. But they are talking about him being the future of the super heavyweight division. He's really good pals with Moses Itauma, who was on the squad with. Of course, he's turned professional and now doing incredible things, and huge expectations for him in the pro divisions. Up on all 5 scorecards again, Damar Thomas, who hasn't taken the route to turn professional. 2-time national champion, gold at the Boxam tournament, bronze at Strangia in March, and he has his sights firmly set on LA 2028, and perhaps then he might look at, should he get that platform and do well there, that'll set him up for, of course, all of these promoters who are already looking at him in the pro division. But he knows where he wants to go, and his dream for now is LA 2028. He's mentored by former world champion James DeGale, and his pal Moses Itauma, I'm sure, if he's watching this, will be absolutely delighted with the way that his friend has boxed in these opening 2 rounds. 3 more minutes to go, or 2.5 minutes to be exact, and he's booked his place in the next round on Monday, where, should he get through this, he'll face Joel Ramos da Silva of Brazil, who we just saw in the previous contest. But anything can happen. Still 2 minutes to go. Got to stay switched on.
Yeah, he definitely needs to stay switched on. And you know, he's a confident young kid, is Damar. I met him for the first time a couple of months ago when I returned back to GB for a week. And very confident in his own ability. And, you know, these bouts is all great experience under the belt, you know, and he just keeps improving. And he's definitely, as you say, a podium prospect for LA.
He's got so much, hasn't he? I mean, look at his movement, light on his feet, that sharp jab. He can mix it up on the inside when he needs to. He's really, you can see why there's so much excitement around him. Just got to stay focused on the job, though, and I'm sure he will. He's a mature head, and he knows exactly what he wants to achieve, and the coaches will keep him focused as well.
Yeah, just like to see him when he's boxing at long range, just to implement the odd feint now and again. You know, I think he'll be even more effective. He'll land on those cleaner shots.
A minute remaining in the 3rd and final round. This, the men's super heavyweight 90+ kilo category.
You just did a
wild swings there from Koshaliv, and it's just that step back, isn't it, that left him in no man's land there. Smart defensive work from the Englishman in blue.
Yeah, just needs to keep switched on these last 30 seconds. He's probably going to get one more rush from the man in red.
he's had to concentrate throughout, because although he hasn't necessarily troubled him with anything, Koshalivi has been continually walking him down and coming forward, and the endeavour and the intent has been there, but Damar Thomas has been wise to it. It's been a smart, intelligent performance from him.
Yeah, great performance there for his first bout here in the World Championships.
And we'll be really excited to see him back in action on Monday, where he'll face Joel Ramos da Silva of Brazil, who we saw in the previous contest. And this is what you want, isn't it, Tony? Is, you know, whichever is the host nation, you want the home fighters to go through, because, you know, it garners interest, of course, from fans and gets everybody behind them. And that's you can say that for any sport, whether it's rugby, football. You want the home nation to do well, because it intrigues everybody.
Yeah, of course, especially the local population here, especially in Liverpool, one of the best cities of boxing that we have here in the UK.
Well, the big men have made their way to centre ring, and let's get the official announcement from Craig Denham.
119, your winner by unanimous decision, and boxing out of the blue corner, representing England, is Damar Thomas.
Really good performance, a nice show of respect between the two boxers there at the end. One of the great things about this sport, of course, that you can go toe-to-toe, give everything, and if you do, you have even more respect for the person in the opposite corner. A great show of respect between the two there, but Thomas advances, and we'll see him in action again on Monday, where it'll be England against Brazil. Of course, we are sticking for the remainder of this evening's session in Ring B with the super heavyweights. Next up, we have Iran against Poland.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the rugby battle 120. This is measured as kilo round of 32. And your officials, Judge 1, Egypt, Judge 2, India, Judge 3, Morocco, Judge 4, Canada, and Judge 5, England. Referee representing Australia, David Evans.
So the next boxers hoping to stake their claim for the super heavyweight podium places. In red from Iran, Amir Ismaili Vandai, and in blue from Poland, Oscar Kapera. Kapera in blue, fighting out of the southpaw stance. The Iranian in the orthodox position looks the bigger man. He's just up on his toes, but just edging the pole back. But he's working well off the back foot. He looks busy, not particularly landing anything significant, but good volume of punches coming from him, as the Iranian just trying to load up and detonate that backhand.
Yeah, you just like to think, you know, who's the most dangerous looking here, and it's definitely the man in red from Iran. And you're just wondering how long the pole can, you know, keep this up on the back foot.
Well, he cuts a composed figure, the Iranian, doesn't he? He's taking his time, just stalking his man, not expending too much energy. Yet the pole is having to work really, really hard for every opening, and it's how long he can maintain this level of movement.
Yeah,
He does look vulnerable, doesn't he, at times when he steps back, his chin's up in the air, and you just feel that if the Iranian can get his feet in the right position and plant one in the right place, it could be difficult for the Pole to absorb, as he just stiffens the legs of the man in blue and goes to work now. The Iranian manages to survive that mini storm for now, but you just feel, it's got that feeling, hasn't it, Tony, of just a matter of time before the Iranian lands one big shot or sustains an attack, that the Pole just will struggle to get through.
It certainly does, Stacey. As you can see, the man in red, nice and composed, just trying to get his feet there, and he's having a bit of success with that backhand. But as you say, it's just that one of them will detonate, and you know, I can't see this bout going the full 3 rounds here. And there's such a difference in weight by the looks of them, isn't it? The man in blue from Poland, he looks more of a 90 kilo.
And again, you can get that in any weight category. It's remarkable sometimes the different body types in the same weight category, but here, of course, it's 90 plus, so I reiterate, you can be just over 90 kilos, you can be way over 90 kilos, and you're in the same category. And he does look to be a lot bigger than the Pole, as now he really loads up, and they're looking dangerous, these shots now, and he's looking a little bit weathered as the Pole. Managed to survive that first round, but he had to work really, really hard. He's an 8-time national champion, and he made the podium in the Youth Europeans and reached the quarter-finals of the Youth Worlds. Has had some MMA fights as well, beaten by stoppage by the Uzbek Jahangir Zakirov at the Felix Stam tournament in May. But Van Dijk, gold Asian youth champion last year, dominated the competition in the West Azerbaijan province, and you can see why. He's composed, he's efficient with his energy, and he looks like he has some real bombs. He looks like he can bang, and if he can land one, well, that's surprising in a sense that the Canadian judge has gone with Capera. Maybe he preferred his volume and his work rate, but certainly looked to me like Van Dijk was in control. But fair enough, Capera being rewarded for his high work rate, but how long can he sustain it?
Yeah, just like what he did in the first round, the Iranian. Just as the Pole dropped his head, he just turned the straight shot into a bolo, you know, a little uppercut, landing, having some effect.
It's good movement from Capera though as well, isn't it? I mean, it's lots of lateral movement, lots of head movement. He's trying to change the angles.
Yeah, just like the, you know, how the Iranian just dropped that body shot in there, and that will slow the Pole down. As we can see now, see another one go in there, and if he just brings that left hook upstairs, then left in this round as he closes him down into the corner.
He's letting that backhand go with higher frequency, or he did in that last sequence anyway, and causing problems for Capera.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner to the ring, representing Norway, Amar Mohamed Shihab.
But the Pole there, he's coming on the front foot now, and
that was a great backhand from him.
Yeah.
He's got an unorthodox style, hasn't he? Which makes him often a lot more tricky than they look, you know, when you watch him from the outside. But when you're in with them, they can be really tricky to figure out when they've got this unorthodox style as he appears to have.
Yeah, and he's kind of changed tack and coming on the front foot a little bit there.
And he has started to circle more to his right to avoid that backhand of Van Dijk.
I just think the man from Iran there just got a little telling off by his corner.
There's a minute to go, and he's starting to really ramp things up again with that backhand. He's creating space for it, and Capera just needs to ride this storm again, as he's coming on strong now, the Iranian, and he does look to be the man with the heavier hands. And some of these are missing just by a whisker, but he catches him there as he presses his man up against the ropes, and the pole manages to evade that one. Good bit of footwork from him defensively. Comes back with a couple of swings of his own. It's an interesting one, this, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. You'd like to see the guy in red from Iran there just come with 2 and 3 punches. There just seems to be a lot of single-handed ones, you know, with a good degree of power. But as you say, Stacey, he's sort of missing a few of them.
And sometimes trying to force it, isn't he? And they do say, don't they, if you stay relaxed and set the shots up, then that power comes and the knockout comes with it. But that is a really, really good effort from Caparra, to be fair, and I think he was more effective in that second round, and he has sustained the pace and the intensity, and he's had a bit more success of his own as well, so a better round for the pole.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which way the judges go on this.
Lovely backhand that, wasn't he? Just slipped his shoulder and let it loop over the top, and it was he tucked up well there. He was under that firepower from the Iranian, and that lateral movement and head movement has made it difficult for the Iranian to really plant something clean on him, although you can see the intent is there. And there we go. Judges split again, 3-2 in favour of Ismaili Van Dijk.
Yeah, as you say, Stacey, he did find it awkward to land them shots, and with a smaller opponent in front of you, and especially if he's moving the head a little side to side, a good tactic to deploy is, you know, punch to the chest.
I think he'll just want the vest tucked in of Caparra, so the coach just making a couple of adjustments there. His hand aloft of Caparra there. He's fired up for this one, and I think we will see some fireworks here, because both men know they've not booked their ticket to the next round yet, and they've got 3 minutes to do it. That was a great response from Caparra after being pinned against the ropes from Iran's Ismaili Van Dijk. What an intriguing contest this is. It really did look like he was on shaky legs at times in the opening round, Caparra, but goodness me, what resilience. And he's got his tactics spot on as well, and he's caused problems for the Iranian. Been a good performance from the Polers yet again. Lets that backhand go and connects. His work rate really is just superb, isn't it? He's just not stopped working the whole time, the Pole. Another backhand from him.
Yeah, if you ever to give a definition of going out on your shield, this is definitely it from the Pole.
And his timing there was really good as well, that he actually slipped the jab of the Iranian and then landed that backhand as well.
Yeah, but you can see now it's starting to have the effect from the heavier guy, from the man in red. I think he's just cut there around the eye, the Pole. Yeah,
they had a little bit of Vaseline, I think, on it as he came out for the third round. The corner just doing some minor running repairs in between rounds. But you just feel like Caparra is the one who's got the momentum here. He's forcing it, he's on the front foot, he's the aggressor. And Ismaili Van Dijk will be really disappointed with himself, and he'll be annoyed, kicking himself looking back at this if he doesn't get the job done, having such a good start in the first round. But Caparra has been outworking him. But that was a big shot, and this is the power that the Iranian possesses. And there's still a minute to go, and they're both swinging there in the neutral corner. As Caparra, smart work there, just turning his man to get his way out of the corner. Ismaili Van Dijk could have done with just taking a little step back there, Tony, to make space to continue that attack, but a good shot from Caparra in the little gap there.
Yeah, he's having some great success there in this final round.
Mouth guard out for Caparra, as both men just taking the opportunity to take big gulps of air, because with 40 seconds remaining, they know it's 40 seconds of all-out battle. Who can convince the judges and show them that they want it more? That's what this could come down to, as they go straight back into it. Referee not quite ready though. Australian referee David Evans just separating the two, and we're back underway. 15 seconds to land those last couple of clean, eye-catching shots. Who can do so? Untidy tussle here. Nothing particularly clean from either man in the closing seconds there, but you have to say he stiffened the legs of Kapur in that first round. He looked like he was on the run for a lot of it, didn't he? And the Iranian looked like he had that real firepower, but goodness me, the Pole made some adjustments in the second round, got his tactics spot on, found a way to connect with that backhand, and his work rate just superb, unquestionable.
Yeah, phenomenal. You know, if you just look at, we're just looking back now at the replay of those backhand shots, you know, great credit to him.
Really good work, and it's exciting, this one, because there's no way of knowing with any certainty who the judges will have gone with in this final round. They were split for the first two. Who has taken the decision? Superstars of this weight category. Azerbaijan's Mohamed Abdullayev in red, two-time Olympian, Tokyo and Paris, lost in Tokyo to Bakidir Jalilov, that man we were talking about earlier, who's stood in just about everybody's way in this division at every major tournament for the last few years. Lost in Paris at the Olympics last year to Germany's Nelvi Tiafak. He's in against the man in blue from Cuba, Julio Cesar La Cruz Peraza, who is 36 years old, 10 years older than the Azerbaijani, but double Olympic gold medalist, Tokyo and Rio, multiple world championships. He lost in Paris to Azerbaijan's Laurent Alfonso, who was Cuban born but defected to Azerbaijan. Has boxed as a pro as well in the IBA Champions Night in Havana last summer. That was the first professional boxing event in Cuba since the ban in the 60s, so a huge night for boxing in his home country. And he is somewhat of a legend in the sport. Is this a changing of the guard? We shall see. Abdullayev has also boxed on the IBA Champions Night. That was last September. He beat Colombia's Salcedo in that one. So both of these men, unbelievable experience behind them. Both Olympians, multiple major titles as well. It's not been an explosive start, this one, but both cautious, showing each other respect. And again, the Azerbaijani looking the heftier man, Tony.
Yeah, as you say, Stacey, tremendous amount of experience here by both boxers, and a little bit of a chess match in this opening round, just to feel each other out.
Representing Norway, Ithoma Mohamed Shiha.
They're both taking the time to just figure out the patterns of movement, look for those openings, downloading all that data from one another. Cubans, of course, just an incredible heritage in the sport of boxing. Men's boxing, that is, of course. The women, they've only just lifted the ban in the last few years, so perhaps we'll see some stars in the women's game come through eventually, but they have been an absolute joy to watch. And a bit like, I think you could say, Tony, the Brazilians in football, they always bring that pizzazz, that X factor, that flashy style, but with plenty of substance as well. They are the masters of hit and not get hit, as we're seeing here. Low hands from La Cruz Pereira, and he's just goading Abdullayev now, isn't he? And difficult to hit when he's in that kind of mood. And look at that fluid movement and relying on his reactions and reflexes even at the age of 36. So, of course, is what he's known for, as many of the Cuban boxers are, that wonderful fluid movement. Really difficult to pin down and hit.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, he's got that first round under his belt, no doubt. And he's just a veteran, you know, in this one. And you'll probably see him, you know, on the podium in Los Angeles, and probably don't be surprised to see him in the corner as a coach thereafter.
Well, with the exception of the Mongolian judge, all four other judges have it in La Cruz Peraza's favour. And as you saw just in the replay there, as he backed his man up, just two little laybacks to evade the jab from the Azerbaijani, and then came back in with a flurry of shots in quick succession. And you would expect that if he feels he's got the measure of Abdullayev now, we'll see even more showmanship from the Cuban potentially in this second round. Or can Abdullayev impose himself and cause problems for the man in blue? You feel that this, you know, he's gonna want to really try and come forward a bit more and land something, Abdullayev, don't you? But it's proving to be difficult so far.
Yeah, the type of boxer Abdullayev is, you know, he likes guys to come onto him and for him to counter punch most of the time, but he's got to take it on the front foot a little bit. But he's, you know, La Cruz is such a tricky customer. It's you know, it's very hard to be effective. But he's the bigger guy, so you know, let's see if he can push La Cruz back a little bit, lie on him, you know, try and sap that energy from La Cruz.
And sometimes he needs to go twice, doesn't he, Tony? Because he's so evasive defensively that he's slipping those couple of shots. But you feel if he goes again, he might just catch La Cruz Peraza.
And you know, it's interesting with these Cubans. I went to, you know, myself and a few of the coaches from Great Britain. We went to, you know, the Havana, home of Cuban boxing, and seeing where they train. They train in a very simplistic form. You know, it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, our club went there, and completely different culture and environment and style of training, and of course the equipment really, really basic there. But they are so well schooled and so talented, the Cuban boxers. Just goes to show that all the fancy Dan equipment and sports science, while it has its place, certainly isn't essential, because they've been the best in the world for a very long time without any of that. Little shimmy of the shoulders from the Cuban now as he gets on his bike, and just his back just grazing the ropes as he skirts around the edge of the ring apron. And Abdullayev just trying to get through and land with something. He's always missing by a whisker, isn't he? It must be frustrating for the Azerbaijani. And that's the skill of La Cruz Peraza, isn't it? That he makes the miss just by those tiny margins, and he's still in range then to counter.
Yeah, he's very exciting, La Cruz, isn't he? And very entertaining on the eye. And he's not scared there, being the smaller man, just to stand there. You know, he's not a natural super heavyweight, but he can stand there and trade with him. All that experience.
And that confidence just to put your face in range to say, go on, just try and hit me. And then, oh, you didn't, and I've just countered you.
Yeah.
Exudes that confidence, doesn't he? And that's from years and years and years of boxing at the elite world-class level and topping the podium on so many occasions. And it really is a joy to see. Referee Indonesia's Muhammad Pohan hasn't had a great deal to do here, and he'll probably be glad, given his size, that he hasn't had to prize these two big men apart very often. Yeah, you don't want to be taking one of those by accident, do you?
Yeah, you don't want to be sandwiched in the middle of these two, do you?
And you can see the endeavour from Abdullayev there. You could see, couldn't you? He was really just trying to get his shots off, but he's just so tricky and evasive, is La Cruz Peraza. Have the judges seen it though? Did have one in favour of the Azerbaijani, but on this occasion, the second round, all in agreement, right across the board. The Cuban takes it on the judges' scorecard. So Abdullayev now got 3 minutes to change things and book his ticket to the next round on Monday evening. Whoever prevails here will face Ismaili Vandai of Iran, who we just saw in the previous contest.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Abdullayev. He's got to go twice, you know, and he's got to exert that little bit of extra speed, but it's very difficult to do that against La Cruz.
And I think as well, being 10 years his junior, he ought to have the work rate and the fresher. And you'd think that setting a higher pace would make it more difficult for La Cruz, but La Cruz has looked fresh as a daisy here himself, hasn't he?
Yeah, definitely. we had a little burst of energy there by Abdullayev there, and he just got to be a little bit more consistent at that. I mean, incidentally, it was my boxer that lost out to Abdullayev in the opening contest in Tokyo Olympics.
What tactics did you give your boxer going into that contest with him?
Well, I showed him 2 videos. I said, do not go on the front foot. But unfortunately, it's easier said than done, as you well know, Stacey. After 30 seconds in the first round, what did my boxer do? He went on the front foot and he fell into the trap of what Abdullayev likes, you know, opponents coming onto him.
And they're so good, these experienced world-class boxers, at making you fight the fight that they want you to. They just draw you into it, don't they? Whether they like a scrap, they draw you into that. Whether they want a counter-punch, they draw you into that. It's really...
Yeah, exactly.
Before you know it, you are in that trap, as you say.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes if you don't get the tactics right in the first round, you come back after that first round, you're a round down, then you've got to change tactics, then you start chasing the bout, as you well know, and you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and then you've got a mountain to climb in this last round, as Abdullayev has.
He's getting really frustrated here as he stuck out his jab and tried to line up the backhand, and by the time he threw it, La Cruz Peraza was no longer there, and he's just been skipping around the ring on his bike and enjoying himself.
Yeah, lovely body work there by La Cruz, and as he nullifies Abdullayev's work, you know, he just has a little smirk to him as he slides off and then gets back to work there, down to the body and left hook to the head there. He's enjoying himself now, looking out the ring as he normally does.
Final few seconds of this third round, just taking final couple of words of advice from his corner, the Cuban. Nel just wanting to see these last few seconds out, and he is doing his just making sure he doesn't get caught by the oncoming Abdullayev. And a frustrating 9 minutes for the Azerbaijani there, who you could see he's got the power to cause problems, but just wasn't able to land cleanly despite his best efforts. And Julio Cesar La Cruz turning the clock back there and showing that he without doubt still has it. And he'll go on to face Ismail Vanday of Iran should he win here, which we expect him to. Ahead on the judges' scorecards going into the third, and wouldn't expect that Abdullayev has managed to do anything to change that. So we've got an exciting matchup now on Monday with Iran and Cuba should he progress. So this will be an interesting one. We've got Miracle Manuasio Key from Samoa, New Zealand born. It's really important to him, he says, to put Samoa on the map. His father introduced him to boxing at the age of 14, and he wants to honour his legacy and his Samoan heritage. He fights in red, and he's up against the Croatian Luka Pratljacic in blue.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, ring A now 107, which is an over 90 kilo round.
Fighting out of the southpaw stance, the Samoan in red. Sorry, orthodox stance, the man in red, and the Croatian in blue. Fighting out of that southpaw stance.
Judge for USA and judge for
Both just trying to get feeling out phase.
Representing Estonia, Dimitri Balais.
Chants of Luka in support of the Croatian from his teammates.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing your red corner, representing Uzbekistan, is Yakhange Zukirov.
Yeah, good solid start by the man in blue from Croatia.
Yeah, you feel he's just starting to find his range a little bit, Tony, don't you? And just starting to ease into this one. Just get his rhythm. It was a confident start from the Samoan Key, though.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner to the
Just
ring,
working away there, but again the Croatian looks the bigger, thicker set boxer, doesn't he? In terms of his frame, he's got those broad shoulders.
Yeah, you just get that feeling that the Samoan might walk onto something here. I like how he's moving his head side to side, but you just feel like he gets caught, the hands on coming back is quick. He's pushing his man back. But the more dominant shots there, there's them legs stiffened up. Just come from the man in blue, the Croatian.
You can see that the Samoan has been working on just dropping that shoulder to his left to avoid that backhand, and he's trying to land a backhand of his own, but he does get caught there, and it looks like he's stiffened his legs, and that was a big shot, and I'm not sure the referee will want to see this going. The towel has gone in from the Samoan's corner, and that's a real shame. He wants to, he's self-funded to come here. He set up a fundraising page to help cover the costs and works in youth development in Wellington in New Zealand, so he's a real role model in his neck of the woods, but it's really important to him, and he's passionate about honouring his father's legacy and his Samoan heritage, and he'll be disappointed with the outcome, but he did well in the opening stage of that. But Luka Pratlja Mitchell Barton or the Greek Stylianos Roulias, and two very big men, as you can see here. Scotland's Barton in red and Roulias of Greece in blue. Roulias is a four-time Greek national champion. He reached the under-23 Euro finals last year. Greece, of course, joined World Boxing in March. And he's had two bouts with the Hell Boxing Kings series, which I'm sure will have stood him in good stead. But this, Barton says, is the biggest tournament of his career so far as a senior. Has boxed at the Youth Worlds in 2016 and the Commonwealth Games in 2018, but he knows that the World Boxing Championships at the senior level is indeed a level up. And the Scottish Championship by stoppage in March, and he's the GB Elite champion. Had two fights as a professional, but here he is.
Yeah, the smaller man against, in here, but probably the heaviest. Be good just to see him close that gap a little bit, move his head side to side, and try and switch that attack.
His father is Scottish, so representing Scotland here. Interesting to see how this one develops, and as I say, whoever comes through this faces big, powerful Croatian who we've just seen in action. It'll take place on Monday. Some big shots coming from the man from Greece in blue. He's just stepping in and out, isn't he, and loading up with that backhand, and looks like he could be in trouble, Barton, if one of those should connect.
He's got a lovely jab as well. You see that head push back there, Barton's. Lovely jab there by the Greek. You just hate to see him drifting in and out with the feet and keep it nice and long, and some lovely boxing.
He's got plenty of experience, like I say, Euro finals last year, and those two Hell Boxing Kings series, which is one of those where they can do more than 3 rounds.
Boxing well here, the Greek. With those long, straight shots, and I like just how he slipped that left hook to the body there as well, just underneath Barton's elbows. That backhand over the top.
That was a really good shot there, and that backhand is the one that we've been talking about, that we were saying if that connects, it's going to be a threat to Barton, and it certainly was. That just stiffened the legs of the man in red. And he's got a real fight on his hands here now, and he's picking him off with that backhand.
He can't mess with that backhand, that's lovely.
He's got to be careful coming in. He needs some more head movement, Barton, on the way in, because It's just coming in straight lines, and the man from Greece in blue able to pick him off. He's got those low hands now. He's looking really confident and fluid with his movement. Switches stance now into the southpaw stance. Back to orthodox. Just picking him off with that jab. And that's lovely work on the back foot with the jab there from the Greek.
Yeah, I really like his punch selection. You know, everything just seems to be coming off nicely.
He's very technically tidy, is Rulias.
Oh, shot right there.
He throws all his punches correctly. What a backhand that was.
Lovely.
Perfect technique there from the man in blue, and I'm not sure the referee will want to see too many more of those for Barton. Although we are close to the end of the first round, but he's seen enough, and that's understandable, because we could see that coming, Tony, couldn't we? We were saying he was looking to set up that backhand, and should it connect, he'd be in real bother, and that the second time of asking that backhand was an almighty shot, wasn't it?
I thought,
boy, did it connect.
Yeah, I thought Barton did well to stay up. As we watch the replay back here, lovely backhand over the top. And when he backed him up to the ropes there, some lovely backhands there by the Greek.
And I tell you what, when you look at this performance, and I think we're about to see that backhand that finished things here, boom, there it is. And that lovely slip as he let that backhand go. Perfectly executed technique, and I tell you what a fight we have in store, because a stoppage from Rulias.
Rugby man 123. Your referee has stopped the contest in round 1, giving you your winner. And boxing out of the blue corner, representing Greece, is Stylianos Rulias.
And as I was just about to say, Stylianos Rulias with a really show-stopping couple of backhands there to close things out early in the first round. And prior to that, we saw Croatia's Pratel Jasic do exactly the same to the Samoan Key. So we have two really big hitters who are going to face off on Monday. What a prospect we have in store. That is going to be explosive, to say the least. So make sure you're across that one on Monday, because that promises to be a really exciting battle. We have one more super heavyweight contest remaining here in Ring B this evening, as we turn our attention to Turkey and Turkmenistan. Well, our final contest in Ring B of this evening's session sees Mukhit İlyas of Turkey face off against Dovlet Islamov of Turkmenistan. And again, don't blink, because anything can happen with these super heavyweights. We've seen some measured chess-like matchups and some blistering performances and devastating knockouts. What does this one have in store?
And your officials, Judge 1 Egypt, Judge 2 Argentina, Judge 3 Chinese Taipei.
Good start
Judge
from Islamov.
4 Hungary, and Judge 5 India. Your referee, representing Japan, is
Ilyas.
Rishi Iragashi.
Equally aggressive as well. So we've got İlyas of Turkey in the red, and he's been really aggressive on the front foot. And Islamov just having to bide his time to wait for the openings.
Your red corner, representing the Dominican Republic, Jose Agustin Chise.
Lovely backhand there from the man from Turkey in red, İlyas, who's had a really good start here.
He certainly has. And he's the most stylish out of the two, isn't he? You know.
He is, yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner.
He's got really nice movement, having a good footwork, good head movement. He's just really good at setting up the shots, isn't he? Just slipping the shots of Islamov and finding a way through.
Yeah, like that jab right hook there on the side.
And that just great shot there when he just leans to his left and lets the backhand go. Just picking him off and then moving off nicely. It's a really good start for İlyas.
Some good success with that backhand over the top.
He looks really sharp, doesn't he, when he gets particularly in that mid-range and lets his hands go. Really sharp and accurate. Islamov much slower with his hands, isn't he? Struggling to deal with the hand speed of İlyas.
If you watch now Islamov, as he started, he came out nice tight guard, but now he's just starting to drop that lead hand, and I think he's going to, you know, pay the price with that backhand from İlyas.
Looks dangerous with that backhand though, doesn't he, as well, Islamov? Yeah. Feel like if he can really get his body behind and connects with one of those, it could be trouble for İlyas, but he's opting to just rely on his reflexes in this corner, and as impressive as it is,
we have a sustained attack. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it necessarily, but applause from his corner there, and that's his confidence, I guess. The World Boxing Cup Warsaw in July, he boxed in. He had a pro bout in February, stopped his opponent from Azerbaijan, Nurlan Akundov, in Istanbul. Turkey taking 3 medals at the Paris Olympics. They joined World Boxing in March. And Islamov of Turkmenistan, one of 4 boxers representing his nation at these World Championships. We've got men entered at 60, 65, 70, of course, here at super heavyweight. Hosted the elite national championships in the capital, Ashgabat, and all gone in favour of İlyas, the judges, and the man from Turkey. And the national championships, 71 elite male boxers, and Islamov took the title despite not entering the tournament as the favourite. He didn't have the most experience either, but he came through, and here he is now representing his nation at the World Boxing Championships. But he's got his work cut out against the very skillful Mukhit İlyas of Turkey in red. Looping overhand right from Islamov. It doesn't penetrate the guard of İlyas, who fires back, and when he gets those combinations go, he gets them going. It's impressive stuff from the Turk.
Certainly is. He boxing nicely, especially that uppercut there up through the middle. Oh, and left hook there
Lovely chopping left there, wasn't it? And he's finding the gaps, isn't he? And such accuracy as well. Lovely work from the man from Turkey in red. Really impressive stuff. And he's shown here that he can box on the back foot. He can initiate his own attacks as well. Real rounded skill set from the man in red. He's got quicker feet, quicker hands, and he's used it to his advantage. But he doesn't want to be here for taking too many risks, does he, Tony? I mean, it's nice to watch that defensive, evasive work, but it only takes one shot to connect one of those flailing limbs,
especially at this weight,
of Islamov, and that can be lights out, can't it? So he's just got to be careful. Minute remaining, or thereabouts, in the second round. Really getting his whole body behind these swinging shots now, Islamov, isn't he? He's invested an awful lot of energy in this round, and the judges may see that in his favour, because he's been pressing things and walking his man down, and might not have connected as well as Ilias has, but the endeavour certainly has been there, and really trying to get that whip on his torso, isn't he, to get some purchase on the shots.
And you can't fault his work rate, you know, he's not stopped for 2 rounds, you know.
He's actually not allowed Ilias to look as smooth and fluid in this round. And what an uppercut there from the backhand of Islamov. And Ilias has to be careful here and cautious, because the man from Turkmenistan is showing no signs of slowing down, and it's relentless pressure here. And if one of these big swingers lands, Ilias could find himself in trouble, and he's been drawn into a real scrap here, having kept things at a more healthy distance, you have to say, in the first round. But we'll be glad to hear the hooter to signal the end of the second, because that was real heat continually being turned up by the man from Turkmenistan, and a really good second round from him.
Yeah, I think you know, we're in for an exciting final round, even though, you know, he's 2 rounds down, but he's got a heart of a lion, and he's just going to come out exciting for a caution to the wind. And as we looked how Elias went back to the corner there, he does look
very jaded.
Yeah,
and they're having to muster those last bits of energy and trying to build his belief, and it's all in favour of him on the judges' scorecards, but that certainly won't determine the outcome here if Islamov can really connect with one of those shots. And when he took that little step back to land the uppercut, he had success, and you just feel at times he just needs to take that little step to create the space when he's up close, because here he's able to take them on the arms, Ilias, but just perhaps needs a slight step back from Islamov to...
And he started with intent here, hasn't he?
He really has. He's roughing him up, isn't he? He's right on his chest and just brawling up close. And this is tiring, Tony, isn't it? Because one, you've got to continue to keep high levels of concentration when somebody's swinging and coming at you in this way, but also it's really physically draining, because he's a big man, and sometimes he's leaning on him, and he's got that thudding type of power, hasn't he?
Yeah, it certainly is, and he's caught him again.
The referee's taken a tumble as well, but he's back on his feet. And
we did say it, didn't we, that we were in for a great round here.
Yeah, well, even the referee took a tumble, but these two now going toe to toe and slugging it out, and that was a big backhand from Islamov that caught Ilias, and that's what we've been saying. He has to be cautious here, because he does have that power in his locker, Islamov, and there's still a minute and 45 to go. Ilias just sharp work with the backhand there, but Islamov continuing to maraud forward, rough his man up and try and impose himself enough and apply enough pressure to break down the man from Turkey in red. And Ilias is looking jaded, looking to the referee here.
Will the tide turn? Yeah, he's got to keep his wits about him, otherwise he's going to throw this
Looks
away.
exhausted here,
Yeah.
Ilyas, but managing to evade that onslaught from Islamov, whose work rate throughout this has been incredible. He's been non-stop the whole way through. A minute remaining. He shows no signs of stopping or slowing down the man from Turkmenistan, and you just never know if he can sustain an attack here or land a couple of really telling blows. It could be all over for Ilyas. He's continuing to dig in though, and he's being made to work really, really hard as he lands a backhand of his own and stiffens the legs of Islamov. What a contest this has been.
Oh, fantastic.
30 seconds remaining. Still time for one of these big shots to land, or one of these attacks from Islamov to overwhelm Ilyas. He's 20 seconds to get through here, and he's almost out on his feet. Just boxing on instinct here, the man from Turkey. Fairly exhausted, and understandably so, because it's been a relentless onslaught on the front foot from Islamov.
Yeah, he's looking for the bell now, isn't he, Ilyas?
Final few seconds here, and what a performance that from Islamov, who gave absolutely everything. He was in against a really technical operator, and I think it's fair to say a better boxer in terms of skill set. But he negated that and took that away from him by this incredible sheer will and determination and work rate. And we see there the referee will not appreciate the production team replaying that clash of tangle of legs where he almost hit the deck and went through the ropes. But the boxers not too interested in that and continued and landing shots and blows from all angles. And what an end to today's proceedings that from Ilyas and Islamov. Superb performance from both. Let's get the official announcement.
Number 124. Your winner by unanimous decision and boxing in of the red corner, representing Turkey, is Muskahit Yaz.
Well, really disappointed figure of Islamov. And of course it is disappointing because he gave a really great account of himself there, and he really did empty the tank there. It was a great effort from him. And the winner of this one, Tony, was always set to face. So this is on the cards for Ilyas. Aybek Oralbey of Kazakhstan on Monday. He had a bye into the next round, and he is a huge...
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner, representing Germany, is Nikita Putilov.
Well, full disclosure, I rate this guy really, really highly. Nikita Putilov, the giant German, 4 times a national champion, 2-time a European champion. And I saw him absolutely knock Omar Shear's head off at the GB Open final in Sheffield a year and a half ago. He was monstrous that day. And across the ring from him is Jose Trise of the Dominican Republic. And you can see from the wide-angle camera that Nikita Putilov, the German, is the bigger man. There is a touch of Vladimir Klitschko about him, and you'll see what I mean when they start boxing. So bout number 108, it's the final contest in Ring A on day 2 of the World Boxing Championships in Liverpool. It's Nikita Putilov of Germany in the blue against Jose Trise of the Dominican Republic in the red. 2 extremely fit fighters at the highest men's weight. Treacy, the more compact of the two, but throwing a lot of leather early in this contest. Putilov likes to operate behind the high-held jab. So still trying to feel each other out. Both men possess enormous power. Bit of a slip there from the Dominican, and Putilov immediately pounced. All of the German team are in the arena supporting their teammate, but so far he's having to weather a bit of a storm from Treacy. That's nice work from Putilov. Started with the left, followed in with the right. Good power behind the shots, worn well by the Dominican. That's nice as well. Going head hunting. There's no wait and see from these guys. Here to win, here to take their fight to the opposition. Neither of those two got through from Putilov, both catching the Dominican's gloves. Now targeting the body, the big man in blue. Putilov being urged by our referee from Japan to keep his head up. Nice little three-punch salvo from the big German. Treacy is so keen to throw that left hook when he gets the chance. That's the shot he's looking to land. And in comes the big winging right. Putilov plants his feet when he throws the punches. Real sting in them when the punches land. He's had to bide his time. Nelvi Tierfak was the lead super heavyweight German at the Olympics last year. Tierfak has moved on, and now it's time for this guy. Giant blonde man, but Treacy warned for his conduct in the centre of the ring. A good opening round, that. Enjoyable for the neutral. So Putilov doing what Putilov does. He likes to stand tall, he likes to hold his guard high and operate behind that lead left jab. But Treacy, the more squat of the two men, is game and durable. But it's the more stand-up style that the judges have taken to, four of them leaning the way of the German, and only the judge from Egypt backing Jose Augustin Treacy. Nikita Putilov boxed at the World Boxing Cup in Kazakhstan, Astana, in July as well, beaten in the final by Aybek Nurulbay of Kazakhstan, the home fighter in that contest. We'll see Aybek this week. Treacy goes to the body and lands with a clean shot. Junior Alcantara, Olympic champion, is up in the stands cheering on his international teammate from Dominican Republic. Not at the flow of the first round, this second round. We've had almost a minute of it. Neither man finding the space or time to operate how they want to operate. Putilov trying to find the combinations, and Treacy trying to find enough space to throw his power punches. Single shot from Putilov, just grazing the eyebrow of Trise there. Ducks under that shot. That's smart work from Putilov. He was looking to the referee to break the two apart, and when it didn't come, well, he landed 3 punches in the clinch. One-two combination searching for the head from Putilov. Trise comes firing back. Got him in position A here, Putilov. Pulled the trigger. That's what his coaches will be shouting. Back comes Trise. Leaning in with the head and leading in with the head. Not enough combination work from either man in this second round. It's lacked a bit of the fizz of the first. A point has been deducted from Trise. He was warned and warned again, leading in with the head. And that point could well prove decisive. Lost the first round on all 5 of the judges' scorecards, and now he finds himself in a position where he needs to pull out all the stops. And again, from the neutral point, that is a real shame. That is a real shame. So here's the best of the action. I've already said it lacked a bit of the pop of the first, the first 3 minutes. Didn't quite flow as well, but you've just seen the referee warning Trise, leading in with the head. And there is the point deduction from the Dominican, and shrug of the shoulders. The head dips down because I think he now knows this is an enormous task, because with the point deduction, he is 3 points behind on 4 of the 5 judges' scorecards. And, well, he needs to put a count on his opponent at the very least in this final round, which might make this ever more exciting, because the Dominicans have to chase. He's going to have to push the pace, he's going to have to push the power, and Nikita Putilov will try and pick him off. And this suits the German, leading by a wide margin on the cards, and until Trise engages him, he doesn't have to do anything. Not in his nature to just sit back and allow the seconds to tick away. Putilov still trying to land the combinations, perhaps sensing the frustration of the Dominican, who knows he needs something supremely special to take anything from this, to save his World Championships. Putilov is eyeing the last 16.
Winner by unanimous decision, and boxing out of the red corner, representing Turkey, is Muskahit Ilyas.
It's good defensive work from Putilov, ducking out of dodge, dipping his knees, lowering his head, making him a moving target, tough to hit.
That concludes our boxing for today on Ring B.
1 minute 30 left of action on day 2 of the World Boxing Championships in Liverpool. Is there a late sting in the tail from the Dominican Jose Trise? Nikita Putilov has to be watchful, mindful. A late onslaught could change the outcome of the contest, and there was a good shot from the Dominican, just catching Putilov high on the head. Once again, he's warned for leading with the head. He's already had a point deducted. Another one would be all she wrote. Another warning for the man from the Dominican Republic. 34 seconds to go. That's all. Is there time for one conclusive shot from the man in the red side of the ring? It's the blue-shirted German who's trying to find the shots to close the show, though. He left it late, and it's going to be too late as the final seconds ebb away. And Putilov still punching, and Trusset still punching after the bell. Bit of a telling off from the referee. I wish we'd have seen some of that action a bit earlier in that final round, but ultimately too little, too late, way too late. Overtime actually in this contest, and Nikita Putilov will be finding his way through to the last 16.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, ring A, bound for 108. Your winner by unanimous decision and boxing out of the blue corner, representing Germany, is Nikita Putilov.
Well, the point deduction didn't help Jose Trusset, but even without the points deduction, Nikita Putilov had done enough to convince all 5 judges to award him all 3 rounds.
We return tomorrow.
The odd anomaly, just the Egyptian in round 1 going the other way.